recorder, overwrite the previous file, go back to check. So this time it is now recording from the correct microphone, from the correct audio device. Any questions? No? Okay, so the bottom line is now we have screen recording. This is the stuff starting from now. I can upload this stuff to YouTube after the class. Okay, so getting back to here, the next thing we need to do, which is what I wanted to do originally, but I wanted to start screen recording so that we can go back to YouTube and remember how to do it, is to create or prepare a persistent drive, just like kind of what we talked about last time. So now that I'm still logged in as root, you can see that I'm still logged in as root here. I can type the command called gparted, which is my partition editor. And it's going to take some time to scan through all the partitions. It complains about SDD. You just ignore that. Okay, when you run gparted, your gparted will complain about the same problem too. Just ignore that. And then we go to, we know we don't want to mess around with an SDG because that's the drive that I have mounted and that's where I'm recording the lecture. So it has to be SDF, that is the drive that I want to format. Is that okay for me to reformat your drive? So everything on that drive? Okay, all right. So once you get into gparted, you can just right click on a partition and say delete, and that will remove a particular partition. And there's something here. It's not connecting these two small pieces together.
I think that's the file for the USB.
No, it's an extended partition. So I have to delete the extended partition too. So now it becomes one single empty space again, and then I can create. Yep.
So SDG is what you're running on right now, and SDF is his drive?
Correct. And that's what I'm trying to use to prepare for persistence. Are we still doing okay? Okay. So just right click on, if you want to use up the entire drive space, you'll just right click unallocated, click new. It automatically selects the entire free area. But if you want to use like half of the drive because you have a much bigger device, you can go ahead and do that. Extension 2 will work, but I would pick at least extension 3. We talked about this last time, how this is a journaling file system and it's more robust against accidentally rebooting the machine. And the label here has to be persistence, okay, not live-rw. I tried all different combinations and this is the only one that worked. I tried live-rw as documented by the live boot, the package, and that did not work. So you have to name it persistence. If you have yours already named as live-rw, it's okay. You can just go ahead and change it by using the command E2 label. I think I mentioned that in my instruction. So I'm going to add this as a partition. And it still has a little bit of space left at the end. I'll just kind of leave that alone. Apply all operations. And it is just creating a new partition at this point. And how long this takes depends on the USB device itself. Some devices are faster and some are slower. And you can never tell until you actually run it.
I noticed even when you buy them on the packaging, it doesn't say anything about the write speed or anything like that.
No, because they unless you're using an SD card, because SD cards are intended for digital cameras and camcorders, so it becomes important to classify how fast you can write to the device, and that's why my recommendation is to stick with an SD device and get a good SD card reader because they have guaranteed write speeds.
Right.
And they're not really that much more expensive.
Can you buy the USB with guaranteed write speeds?
I guess you can, but those tend to be more expensive than having an SD card plus an SD card reader. And plus, you can, after this class, if you use an SD card, you can reuse the SD card for your digital cameras. Whereas if you use a thumb drive, it's just an extra thumb drive.
Well, I saw a really good deal. It was like $180 for a 1 terabyte flash drive. It was on special, something or another.
That's a little more than how much I'm willing to pay for something
for 1
this
terabyte,
class.
that's a lot of writing.
Yeah, but I don't need a terabyte.
No, but I'm just...
I know what you mean. Yep. Is it a small USB external hard drive, or is it
it's a
a thumb drive? Wow, a terabyte?
It's a 1 terabyte flash thumb drive.
I have never seen one before.
I haven't
See
either.
light bulbs going on in your head right now.
Not at that price. I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy price for that. Okay, it's all done at this point. And when it's all done, we have something else to do. And it complains about this again. Just ignore that. It's not important. All right. So now that we are done repartitioning that particular device, one thing we can do to it, or we have to do to it, is to create a file to tell the live boot scripts which part of it we have to pay attention to. So this is really important. The instruction is already written. When I wrote to you guys a few days ago, I think. It's already included in that instructions, but I want to show you exactly how to do it, since we are at this point anyway. So we're going to go to DMESG, and I cannot remember the drive letter. Can anyone remember which one I just reformatted? F? Okay. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing here. Create a mount point for that particular drive. mkdir /media sdf1. And then do a mount. Basically the same thing. And remember, when you do this at home, you don't have to deal with SDG because you don't have that extra device for screen recording. You're just doing your homework assignment. Okay, so now we have my new persistent drive mounted, and I just go to the root folder of that, and you can see it's empty. There's nothing there, which is perfectly normal. Lost and found is a default directory that exists in every extension 2, 3, or 4 file system. This is where all the lost clusters are stored. So in case you have a corrupted file system and E2FSCK or the file system check software can recover some of the files, it will appear inside the subfolder called lost and found. So right now we have one last thing to do. Use your favorite editor. I use VI, you can use Nano. And you have to create a file called live persistence.conf, and this file name has to be exact. It has to be live minus persistence.conf. And inside this file, you just have to type what folders, what directories you want to be persistent. For all practical purposes, I just need /home to be persistent, so I'm just typing /home here without anything else. You can put in some other things like /etc, /var, some of the other stuff, but I just personally want to be safe, keep it simple, and use /home here, and I use :x to get out of the editor and save the content at the same time. Do an ls just to double check to make sure the file name is correct, and I can use cat to double check the content of the file is what I want. Now that everything is set up, I can now reboot the system. And but when I reboot, I want to remove my own persistent drive and only use your persistent drive to make sure that I can now have persistence. Okay. Are there any questions at this point up to this step? No questions?
I'm so far behind, I don't even know how to ask you questions.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Like, can you restart
What
the
he
whole-
said.
Can you restart the whole day?
I don't even have it on my thumb drive yet. I got 2 thumb drives, so I got 2.
I don't think any,
Mm-hmm.
unless
4
the
gigabytes.
advanced users of Linux in
1,
here,
2, 1, 4.
everybody else is
Yeah,
probably
the
behind.
4 will be useful for this class. The 2 may be too small, for this class.
Okay.
But it's all recorded. Okay, so the only part you have to
I can't
change
even log on to the site anymore. I can't even log on to ARC site. I don't know why.
the ARC site.
I can't get anything on.
You mean Moodle?
I can't log on to anything.
You lost network connectivity?
I guess I tried this computer too. It didn't work. But it was on it last time I was here.
Let me check and make sure that it's not the network itself that has gone bad, because that can happen too.
I was just trying it on my phone to see if it's the computer or whatnot.
Yep, the network is fine. The Moodle server is up and running. So it's either something specific to your computer or something else. Do you want to switch to another computer and see if it
This
works?
one didn't work either.
That didn't work either? Were you using the live DVD, the live ISO, or?
I'm just trying to log on to this turn on the computer up to the desktop.
Try yet another computer. There's one behind you. This morning I was talking to Larry, and Larry said, these computers are finicky. For some reason, they would just go blank and just stop working, suddenly. I'm not sure because I have not used these computers on that side, so I don't know. Can you guys tell me whether that's?
The only computer I found in the other two classes I've taken here is the one next to the gentleman with the red shirt to the right of him.
Okay.
Not the last one, but the second to last one.
Okay.
That one seems to have trust issues with anyone that logs onto it.
Yeah, always have trust issue with the domain.
Okay, but that's not an issue with us, when we use the live
Yesterday
ISO.
we tried to install the server in the other room,
Mhm.
28, and no one succeeded.
Yeah, these are all new computers. The student computers are all new, and we want to check and make sure that it's not whether it is the computers that are problematic or not. How about the rest of you? Are you guys working? Is it working okay?
I can't get on.
Sorry,
I can't get on there.
you could not get on that one, and you're using Windows, using your student ID to try to sign in.
It's ARC ID.
Are you enrolled in the class?
Joel, check my name, Joel David.
Because if you're enrolled in the class, you should be able to log
I was
in.
on last time I was here.
Huh? You did or not? So you were able to log in last time?
Check my name, Joel David.
Okay, I'll do that later.
Okay. All right. Eventually we'll address it, huh?
Well, for now, we are just double checking and make sure that we can get things to work here. Yep,
Right.
go ahead.
I just wanted to kind of summarize where we're at. First, we booted from the ISO that you downloaded, and
Right.
then we set it up so we're now going to be putting it on the USB.
Right.
And the .conf file is basically a configuration file that'll make it so when we boot it up,
Yep.
it'll work out fine.
Yep, exactly. Very good.
And oh yeah, what I missed what you said we needed to have in there, just a slash home.
/home.
Okay.
Yep. /home is the only line that you need because we just want the /home folder to be persistent. Everything else we can just get it from the ISO itself.
After this we restart, restart the system, reboot.
I have to restart the system, but I'm still recording, so that's why I'm going to hesitating to restart until I answer all the questions, and all the answers will be captured on the screen recording as well. Yep.
Okay, so I'm hitting mount and it's saying that the drive I'm trying to do is SDC1. But I look and SDC1 doesn't exist. All I have is SDD1. I'm trying to mount that.
Yes,
and
it's
that is-
SDC1 or SDD1.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Mhm.
It's neither of them apparently. I hit mount, I type mount, and it says that that's mounted right on there.
Okay. Let me diagnose the problems in the second half of this class, because right now, I just want to kind of move on and continue with this process. I know it's important. I'm not saying that it is not important that you guys get it up and running, but I can't, diagnose problems on the other side at this point. So I will help you guys out when I'm done with the lecturing part, and I will come back and take a look at the issues.
Thank you, Dr. Arnold.
Hmm?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. That's why they're paying me.
I'm just panicking because I haven't got anything done,
Sorry?
I'm just panicking, I haven't done anything.
No need to panic.
Had G-Force card, you ain't got nothing done
Okay.
I just now got this thing copied my USB.
I just got the internet at home on Monday.
either. Just the first time, right now.
Yeah, well, we just switched the computers too, so there are, other issues that may be influencing the whole thing. All right, so I'm going to reboot, which means, the recording has to end right now.